October 2023. In a quiet suburb of Western Australia, a mother noticed something unusual: a bedroom door in her home tightly shut. At first, she thought her daughter was secretly online again without permission. But when she pushed the door open, what she found was far more shocking. A teenage boy, a stranger, inside her home. In a surge of panic and fear, she ignored all explanations, grabbed a knife, and struck. Welcome to Red Eastern True Crime. If you want to hear more true crime stories, please like and subscribe. Let's dive into this story. This case took place in the suburb of Parkwood, Perth, Western Australia. In August 2025, 2 years after the incident, the trial finally began, revealing more details about what happened. The mother, Jennifer Mui Len Chin, a Chinese immigrant from Malaysia, was 47 at the time. She and her husband had 2 children, a 14-year-old daughter and a 6-year-old son. October 17, 2023. It was around 8 p.m. Ms. Chin noticed that the door to her husband's bedroom was closed, something she found unusual. Assuming her 14-year-old daughter was inside secretly using the internet, which she wasn't allowed to do, Ms. Chin called out to her. When her daughter opened the door, Ms. Chin noticed a pair of big, dirty sneakers on the floor. That's when she realized someone was hiding under the blanket. Panic set in. She started yelling, "Intruder! Intruder! Who are you? Who are you?" Her daughter quickly blurted out something about a homeless person she was trying to help. But Ms. Chin wasn't listening. She rushed to the bed and tried to pull the blanket away. A teenage boy struggled against her, tugging the blanket back. In that moment, Ms. Chin believed he was naked. At the same time, she heard the boy repeating, I'm sorry, which made her think he had done something to her daughter. Overcome with emotion, Ms. Chin told her 6-year-old son to fetch a knife from the kitchen. On the stand later, she explained, I was panicking. I didn't know whether he was armed. I was home alone with 2 kids. I had to arm myself to protect them. It wasn't even a big knife. The teenager eventually broke free and ran toward the front door. By then, Ms. Chin noticed he was wearing pants, but she said she was still in shock at finding a stranger in her house. Near the door, the boy turned to face her, which she described as looking cocky. Then he stepped toward her. I thought he was going to punch me, she testified, adding she feared he might attack her young son. In court, Ms. Chin said she only wanted the boy to stay away. In panic, she thrust the knife downwards. On the stand, she broke down. I just wanted him to stay away from my kids. I don't go around stabbing people. It's very scary. She also explained that, as a Christian, she doesn't believe in sex before marriage, and she certainly believed her 14-year-old daughter was too young. The court revealed the teen had 2 stab wounds to his chest, 1 deep and 2 more on his back. None were life-threatening. When questioned, the teenage boy admitted he never told Ms. Chin he was her daughter's boyfriend. Terrified, he just kept saying sorry. Even as Ms. Chin shouted intruder, he said he finally broke free, ran to the front door, only to find it locked. Forced to turn back, he came face to face with her once again. After the incident, Ms. Chin's 6-year-old son was questioned by police. He said, My mom trapped him and stabbed him, and then they ran away, referring to his sister. He explained that his mother had asked him to fetch a knife from the kitchen. When asked what he did next, the boy said, I held it carefully, went to Dad's bedroom, and gave Mummy the knife. He also said he didn't actually see the stabbing itself, but he remembered hearing his mother shouting, Intruder, and telling the teenager, You have nowhere to go now. In 2023, during a police interview, Ms. Chin's 14-year-old daughter explained that she and her boyfriend attended the same high school and had been dating for 6 months. But they were forced to keep the relationship a secret, since she wasn't allowed to date or have boys in the house. Still, she ignored the family rules, and the 2 developed a routine of secretly meeting at her home whenever her father was away at work. On the evening of October 17, 2023, after her father left for a night shift at Crown, her mother was in the living room watching Asian dramas. Taking the opportunity, the girl quietly let her boyfriend in through the front door, and the two went straight into her father's bedroom. As Miss Chin got up from the living room and walked past her husband's bedroom, she grew suspicious when she saw the door was closed. She had already been worried about her daughter's sexualized behavior, which had previously led to the girl's iPad being confiscated. Curious about what her daughter was doing in that room, Miss Chin was about to check when her daughter suddenly showed to the door and asked if she liked her dress. While finding her daughter's behavior strange, Miss Chin then noticed a pair of big, dirty sneakers on the bedroom floor. Her daughter later admitted she had deliberately tried to distract her mother, thought she could buy her boyfriend some time, just enough for him to hide under the bed. But Miss Chin's sharp eyes caught the sneakers on the floor. She pushed her way inside and began screaming, "Who are you? Who are you?" Her daughter recalled the chaos. "Mom told my little brother to grab a knife. He ran to get it. I was on the bed. She tried to use the knife on him, but I jumped in between, and she didn't hit me. I said, 'Ma, you will be the one that goes to jail for this,' in a warning tone, but not a bitchy tone." But Chin's reply was, "I don't care. He's an intruder." She even lied to her mom, saying her boyfriend was a homeless kid who'd been kicked out of his house. Later, she admitted, "Knew it was a lie. I was just trying to make her feel sorry for him. Just trying to protect him." In court, Prosecutor Chad Graham went straight to the point. "I suggest you did it because you were angry," he said. Ms. Chin shook her head. "No. You did it to teach him a lesson." "Why would I do that?" she shot back. "Because of what he was doing with your daughter?" Chin answered firmly. "How could I even know what he was doing with my daughter?" The prosecutor pressed harder. "You were angry when you stabbed him." Chin replied, "No, I was scared. He was taller than me." Then came the final push. "He hadn't done anything at that point to make you think he was a threat to you, had he?" Chin's answer was quiet but steady. "I didn't know what he was going to do." The court also heard testimony that the teenage girl had previously been physically disciplined by her father, who once caned her on the hand, something Chin admitted. Chin's lawyer defended her actions, saying that when Miss Chin saw a strange boy in her home, she was utterly shocked. He argued that she believed someone had broken in to assault her daughter, and that her response was simply a mother's instinct. He stressed that Chin was a devout Christian, strict in raising her children, and firmly opposed to teenage relationships. On the stand, Chin herself testified that she absolutely believed her 14-year-old daughter should not be having sex. To her, it went against both her cultural background and her religious beliefs. Reports noted that Jennifer Chin worked as a practicing accountant. After the stabbing incident, she was released on bail under strict conditions, forced to surrender her passport, and only allowed to see her daughter under supervision. Chin pleaded not guilty. The knife she used measured 23 centimeters in length. After being stabbed, the teenage boy managed to escape from Chin's house. A couple living nearby later told police that the trail of blood stretched nearly 200 meters from the scene. They said they heard cries for help, immediately called emergency services, and rushed over to give first aid, doing their best to keep the boy calm. Paramedics eventually found him along Nickel Road, where he was treated for his injuries. Neighbors in the area were left stunned by what had happened. On August 9, 2025, the jury reached its unanimous verdict. They ruled that Jennifer Chin's use of violence was unlawful, that she had no reasonable grounds to believe the teenage boy was an intruder, and that her actions could not be considered self-defense. Instead, they found her stabbing to be an intentional act to cause harm to the teenage boy and entirely unnecessary. The judge acknowledged that Chin was unlikely to reoffend, but stressed this was still a very serious offense, and the state may seek a prison sentence. Outside the courthouse, the victim's father welcomed the verdict. He described the events of 2023 as a nightmare for his son, one that left permanent physical scars and a deep trauma he will carry for the rest of his life. The case, which even the judge admitted fell into a very unusual category, now moves toward sentencing, scheduled for September 3rd. This case sparked heated debate within the Chinese community in Western countries. It revealed a huge clash between traditional Chinese parenting values and the legal and social norms overseas. For many Chinese parents, teenage dating is strictly taboo. In China, most parents won't even consider it acceptable until after high school graduation, 18 or 19 years old. Some people sympathized with the mother. They said it was panic, an emotional breakdown, maybe even understandable. However, others argued, no matter how angry you are, you don't grab a knife, and you definitely don't involve a 6-year-old child. One netizen said, "This is a cross-cultural tragedy. What Chin saw wasn't just teenage romance. It was the collapse of her faith and values." On Chinese forums, people shared their own views. One person wrote, "I once saw 2 Chinese high schoolers buying condoms. They couldn't have been older than 15. The girl looked so embarrassed. And I thought, why would the store clerk even allow minors to buy that? Don't they have any sense of morality?" Another netizen took it further, saying, "The so-called freedom and sexual openness of the West has corrupted Chinese people. Women abandon marriage, chase younger boyfriends, even mother-son romances. And now, this moral collapse is what we're left with." What do you think about this case? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to hear more stories, please like this video and subscribe to the channel.